Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Happy, not quite December. I think we're a couple days away from December, but today we are talking about my November favorites. I am clearly in the holiday spirit. Look at all this red. Maybe it's a little much. I don't think so. But today we're going to talk about all the things that I was loving during the month of November. And I've got a really good mix in here. I have some old favorites, some new favorites, a kind of rediscovered eyeshadow palette that I fell in love with this last month. I even have some brushes that I want to tell you guys about. Lots of good stuff. I hope that you guys are excited about it. Before we jump into my favorites, I want to give a special welcome to those of you that are newer to my channel. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please be sure to give it a thumbs up if you do. Also make sure that you are subscribed before you leave, and if you'd like to be notified each time I upload a new video, make sure that your notifications are turned on. And with that said, let's get right to it. Alright you guys, where should we begin? Why don't we start with the eyeshadow palettes? I typically end with my eyeshadow palette favorites, but what can I say? Maybe it's the red lip. I'm feeling a little bit crazy today. I have two recommendations for you guys. Both of them are older. One I think may have even made it into, actually both of these possibly have made it into a favorites video before, but I pulled them out recently. I have some new thoughts to share on them. Let's start with the one that I'm wearing on my eyes today. This is from Juvia's Place. This is the Taupes palette by Juvia's Place. This is one of their smaller 6-pan eyeshadow palettes. I think I tried these out around last spring. I've really enjoyed all the ones that I've tried out so far. I think I have about 6 of them, but this one I've been using recently and just really loving it. There is something about when the weather starts to get a little bit cold, I really start to be in the mood for cooler tones on my eyes. And this is such a great little cool tone palette. You don't get a lot of depth inside here. I mean, even this gray right here is not going to give you a lot of depth. I am wearing the gray just right through my crease right there. I have a couple of layers of it, so you're not going to be able to go too smoky with this, but I kind of love that, especially when I'm using a liquid or gel liner, when I'm doing a winged liner, which I've been also really into that, and we'll get into a product kind of along those lines in just a minute. There's just something really beautiful about these cool tones. They pair really well together. They give you like a softer, kind of barely there cool tone eye. I think I have all of these shades on my eyes, but I'm mostly focused on like these two shades in the corner there. I do have a little bit of this cooler tone gray just lightly through my crease, but I mostly kind of started out really building up this shade, then adding a little bit of this for depth, and then I went with this one all over my lid, popped a little bit of this on my inner corner. And guys, such an easy, simple look that I've just been wearing over and over again, especially for the last like 6 or 7 days. I keep wanting to grab for this palette and pair it with a wing liner. I just really am into that look right now. Also, I wanted to mention this palette reminds me a lot of the Natasha Denona Glam palette and also the That's Taupe palette by ColourPop. I often mention those two palettes as not dupes for each other because the Glam palette is a lot bigger. But I will say if you have either of those palettes, I think you would get similar looks with those, so you may not need this one, but if you are looking for something cooler tone that's a little bit more affordable, maybe you don't have those two palettes, this is a really good option. That's also really nice and compact. Very cute packaging. You guys know how much I love Juvia's Place, and this is a newfound favorite for me. Another palette that I really enjoyed this last month is the Hangin' in Hawaii palette. I mentioned to you guys that I was planning to take this with me to Hawaii. I did end up taking this one to Hawaii with me, and you guys, this was the only palette that I ended up using out there. I think I dipped into one of my mini Natasha Denona palettes once, but this was the one I wanted to use anytime I did my makeup, which was usually a few times in the morning if we went out to breakfast and a couple of times in the evening if we went out to dinner. It's super quick, super easy, very neutral. I don't think I even dipped into any of the pinks. I just stuck with the shimmers and the browns. But you guys, it's so good. If you're into very neutral looks, but you're very picky about having a very good lid shimmer, this is a great palette. I love the lid shimmers inside here, and I actually feel that way about a lot of these BH Cosmetics palettes that are this size. So many of them have such fantastic lid shades in them. They're just done so well. I'm very picky with my shimmers. Like I like my shimmers to be a certain way, and when a shimmer doesn't quite give me the level of intensity that I want and go on as easily as I want, I get a little bit frustrated. These are not going to give you that problem at all. They are so good. Now I do think I should mention the palette that I have on the BH Cosmetics website right now, the packaging has changed, so it does look a little bit different. It looks like the shades inside are the same, but I can't say if maybe there's been some formula changes or shade changes in there because I don't own the newer version of the packaging. But assuming that nothing has changed and it's been the same, I would highly recommend this. Check out the BH Cosmetics website. They do some really great sales around the holiday season, so this might be a good one if you're looking for a neutral palette for yourself or for someone that you're gifting for. It is really fantastic. Okay, let's talk about the gel liner that I mentioned a couple minutes ago. So really, I wanted to mention gel liner in general, and I've discovered something this last month. I went through a phase last month where I was using liquid liner a lot with the new Kaja liquid liner. I will link that for you guys down below in case you missed last month's favorites video. I still really enjoy that liquid stamp liner, but I've discovered something as I've gone back to some of my gel liners. I think with me being a little bit on the older side, having some fine lines, especially on this area right here, liner kind of in this outer corner. Liquid liner can sometimes look a little off on me. It doesn't seem to move with my skin as well. Like you can see the wrinkles almost beneath the liquid liner. I don't know if this is really making sense. It's just something I noticed as I went back to gel liner. I don't have the same problem with the gel liner. I don't know if it's because this is a thicker product, but it seems to kind of move with my eyes to where the line looks straighter and doesn't emphasize those fine lines that I have in this outer corner right there. Also, generally speaking, I'm a little bit more practiced when it comes to gel liner, so I can do a better wing with a gel liner than I can even with that easier version of the Kaja liner. This one right here is the one that I'm wearing on my eyes today. This one's from Tony Moly. I got this on Yes Style, I think last Christmas. It's actually getting close to drying out, so I probably don't have a lot of life left in this one. It's probably getting close to needing to be thrown away, but it is a really good one. I think it's pretty affordable. Another one I've been loving is the Wet n Wild one. That's a really good one as well. I also have them from BH Cosmetics, but they don't sell that one anymore, unfortunately. Overall, the favorite for me this last month has been black gel liner. I've really been into the look of a black winged liner, especially paired with a lighter eye. When I'm going a little bit more heavy with the dark tones and like the smoky tones in the outer corner here, that's usually when I prefer more of a kohl pencil liner that is not quite as defined, that can smudge a little bit easily, like my Wet n Wild pencil. But when I'm doing something a little bit more light, I like the look of a more defined wing liner, and this is a really good one if you're looking for one. Okay, I have foundation and concealer to share with you guys. First off, the Dior Forever Skin Foundation. The more I've been using this foundation, the more I have been enjoying it. It's a perfect shade match for me right now, which I absolutely love. I love when a foundation just matches me spot on right out of the bottle. I don't have to add anything to it or worry if I'm looking a little too pale or a little bit too tan. This one in the shade 2N is matching me perfectly right now. It's a really nice formula. It's very nice and lightweight, but it has really good coverage. I love the squeezy bottle, very travel friendly. It's nice and sleek, but there's a lot of product inside here. Overall, it's a really good foundation. The formula of this one reminds me just a little bit of the L'Oreal Age Perfect Serum Foundation and also the Estee Lauder Futurist Hydro Rescue Foundation. It kind of has that more lightweight, liquidy feeling. I'd say it has a natural finish, maybe leaning a little bit on the dewy side, but not overly dewy. It also seems to wear pretty well on me, so overall, really good one. Very happy that I tried this out, per your recommendation, by the way. I have a concealer that's really grown on me this last month. It is from Natasha Denona. This is the Transfix Matte Concealer from Natasha Denona. This I bought on sale on her website. The last time I checked, it was still on there and it was still on sale. I will link it down below for you guys just in case. I think it was also on Sephora's website. Now this is a really interesting concealer formula. It's very lightweight, very liquidy, but it sets down really, really fast, which initially I was kind of like, whoa, that's a little tricky to work with. Normally how I put my concealer on is I'll kind of dot it everywhere that I need it, and then I'll go in with my sponge and start to blend it out. The first few times I use this, I realized that you can't really apply it that way, because by the time you get around to like the last spot that you dotted it on, it's going to have set down and it's going to be hard to blend that area out. So the way this works best for me is to apply it and then immediately blend it and then move on to the next spot. Now, it is a little bit more high maintenance for that reason, but this stuff stays in place so well. So while we were out in Hawaii, I had this sore on my lip right here. I think it was like a little zit or ingrown hair that I had below my nose. It was driving me crazy because every picture that I was in, I had this like cold sore looking thing under my nose that just looked horrible in pictures. And it got to the point where by the last few days of our trip, I was like, that's enough. I'm taking this thing everywhere I go with me, and every couple of hours, I'm going to take just the tiniest amount on my pinky finger and dab it on that little spot right there. And that worked wonders for me. This is a really good budge proof concealer. Now I do have to be very careful under my eyes not to apply too much because it does get a little dry or cakey in that area if I apply too much. But I'm telling you guys, this stuff does not budge. It does not move. It's really, really good. I'm really impressed with it now that I've kind of learned how to work with it. Next up, I have a cream bronzer that, you guys, I am so in love with this. It is the Fenty cream bronzer in the shade Butter Biscuit. This is so good. I love it. It was one of your recommendations in the poll that I did on Instagram that I'm always referencing, where I asked you guys what your Holy Grail makeup products were. You mentioned this specific shade and it is amazing. This is one of the best shades of bronzer I've ever used. I have a video coming very soon. I mentioned this before. I actually filmed it the day before Thanksgiving, but I just noticed before filming this video that my mic was not plugged in all the way, so I'm worried since that was the last video I was filming that the mic didn't work in that video. Cross your fingers that's not the case. I'm telling you guys, I've been having a heck of a time lately with the technical difficulties. I don't know what my problem is. But that cream bronzer ranking video will be coming soon, and in that video, this ranked pretty darn high in my rankings, and I am still loving it more and more every day I use it. It is the most perfect formula and shade. I love it. I love it best with a brush. I initially tried it with my finger and then blended it out with either a brush or a sponge. But the way I like it the best now is just to dab my brush directly into the pan and then tap it onto my skin. It is the one that I'm wearing on my cheeks today. And it is amazing. Thank you guys so much for recommending this one. I love the formula. The packaging is adorable as always. Fenty always kills it with their packaging. The only thing I will say is a downside about this, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in the bronzer ranking video I did, but there's not a lot of product inside here. It looks a lot larger than maybe it is. There's only 0.22 ounces, which the Milk Bronzer Stick, the ABH Bronzer, those both have a full ounce in them. So bang for your buck, maybe not the best, but I give it a pass because I absolutely love this. It is so incredible. Let's move on to some brushes. So first off, this brush right here, this is the IT Cosmetics Airbrush Dual-Ended Foundation Brush. I've had this for years. I really have always enjoyed it, but man, you guys, I'm loving this brush lately. It is such a good multi-purpose brush. Really good for foundation, really good for concealer on this side. I've been using brushes a lot with my foundations recently, and this one does such a good job. Never looks streaky. It blends everything in really easily. It's nice and soft, but nice and dense. This also makes a really good bronzer brush if you're looking for an alternative to this one right here that can be a little bit hard to find. It is a little bit bigger, a little bit less dense. I mean, this thing is basically like, it's like the bristles don't move. It is so incredibly dense. But this one's very, very close, and it works really well with the cream products as well. It's also nice and short, so it travels very easily. It fits inside of all my makeup bags. I always hate when the brushes are too long and they won't quite fit inside my makeup bag. This one's nice and concise, so it fits really well. Really good brush if you're looking for a good foundation slash multi-purpose brush. This would be your guy. I also wanted to mention this set of eye brushes from Nabla. I got this back when I picked up their side-by-side palette about a year ago. These brushes are so good. The more I've used them, the more I love them. They're also very travel friendly because they're really nice and short. I'm going to show you a comparison to my Refer brush, for example. There's my number 16 brush. See how tall that one is? This one's really hard to fit inside a travel makeup bag. Plus these are real hair, so I really hate to take them traveling because the hairs start to kind of splay out if you're not very careful with them. These ones don't seem to have that problem. They fit really well inside any travel makeup bag that I have, and you guys, I just love them. I think they're so, so good. They're nice and soft. They have a lot of give to them. They give you a variety of sizes, everything you would need. You get a tiny blending brush, two larger blending brushes. One's a little stiffer than the other. I love this flat one. I've been talking a lot about this one lately because it has so much give to it. Using this in your outer corner works really well. They even have kind of a more smudgy brush for my lower lash line. They are a little bit hard to find. You can get them on the Nabla website, which I think you're probably going to pay international shipping depending on where you're located, but I did see them on Beauty Bay as well for around $30. So I will link them down below if I can find them or if they're in stock when I am posting this video. But if you're looking for an affordable brush set that's going to give you everything you need to get an eye look done, this is a really good one. Next up, a highlighter. This is the Say highlighter. This is their glowy super gel highlighter in Star Glow. I talked about this in my Sephora try-on video. This is really good. It's a very interesting highlighter. It's unlike any other formula or texture I've ever tried. It's very, very liquidy. Actually, the texture and feel of this reminds me of the feel of the Juicy Pang water blushers if you've ever worked with those. They feel very water-like, but it has a good amount of sheen in it. It is the one that I'm wearing on my cheeks today. It does have some glitter in it, but the glitter particles are microscopic. I mean, they're almost undetectable, but it's definitely something you want to be aware of. I do have to say this though, I hesitate bringing this up because I feel like it's a little bit weird, but I think I should let you know. There was something about the smell of this that I was like, I kind of like it, but there's something strange about it. And I think I put two and two together this morning and discovered that there is a very slight almost urine-like smell to this, which I know I just convinced you all not to go out and buy this thing, but I have to be honest, that's what I finally realized while putting this on today, was that it kind of smells like pee. So be aware of that. Maybe it's just me, but I can't help it. The smell is there. I feel like I had to tell you guys so you didn't buy it and then come back and tell me, that's disgusting, Mandy. This thing smells like urine. How could you not tell us that when you knew that it did? So there it is. Beware. I don't notice the smell once it's on my skin, so I'll probably continue using this despite the fact that I think it smells like what I think it smells like. And I'm sorry that it's probably too much information, but I feel like it's information that you guys should know about before you go out and buy this. So I do like it. It was a favorite of me this last month, but I was kind of upset to discover that this morning or put that together as I was putting it on today. Okay, we're getting close, guys. I have two lip products to share with you guys today. This one right here, the Fenty lip gloss in the shade Fussy. I took this to Hawaii with me and used it everywhere we went. This came in every bag with me. I love this stuff because it's super hydrating, but it gives you a little bit of shine, so you look like you have a little bit of makeup on, even when you don't have any other makeup on. The only bad thing about taking it everywhere with me down there was that this, I think, in a bag with sand and sunscreen on your hands, the packaging couldn't hold up to it. You see how the packaging is kind of all peeling off, and unfortunately now, every time I pull this out, I get chunks of like glitter flecks from the foiling falling off all over my face, all over my hands, so I kind of feel like I need to scrape it off now. So learn from my mistake. Don't take this to the beach with you. I don't have any trouble with these inside my purse. I've left these in my very dirty purses for weeks and weeks and weeks or months. I imagine it was probably my sunscreened hands and the sand inside my bag that did this, but still a favorite of mine. It is still one of my very favorite glosses. Last up, I have a repeat item here. I've talked about these a lot this last year. It is one of the Plumping Serum Lip Balms from Hard Candy. I hope they still sell these. I am a big fan of these. I have 3 or 4 shades of these and I love them all, but you guys, this one is one of my very favorites. This is one of the lighter shades. It's kind of a barely there kind of shade. It's the shade Bountiful Bear. Let me just give it a little swatch on the back of my hand. So there's the shade right there. As you can see, it's kind of a barely there light pink shade, but I love this. I love the hydration it gives. The plumping effect of this, it really does make my lips look, I mean, I don't want to say plump, but it does make them look healthy, which I'm assuming is kind of the plumping effect that is in this. It's pretty subtle. It's not uncomfortable by any means, but this has been a go-to for me lately. I found myself, I didn't take this to Hawaii. I'm sorry, I keep mentioning Hawaii. I hope that's not annoying, but it was a full week of my last month, so we're talking a good portion of last month, but I found myself missing this in Hawaii, despite the fact that I had my gloss. This is just one of those products that's so easy to just throw on your lips. It's nice and big. The packaging is pretty simple, and it can even double as a cheek color, which I have done a time or two. I'm still loving these. This has been a go-to for me over this last month, so I had to mention it again for you guys today. And that, you guys, is it. Those are all of my favorite products from the month of November. What did you guys love this last month? Did you try anything new out that you really fell in love with? Or do you have some staples that saw you through the month of November? Let me know down in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you guys are doing well. I hope that you are looking forward to the holidays. I obviously am. Let me remind those of you that haven't yet subscribed, please do that before you leave. I have so many fun videos coming up in December. I do all of my year-end videos in the month of December, and I think I'm going to do a really fun version of that this year. Like, think award ceremony. We might do something along those lines. It should be a lot of fun. But that is all for today. Thank you guys again. Hope you are doing well. I will see you all soon in my next video. Bye. My hair is so fluffy today. It's like I can feel, it's like I'm covered in cotton, which would normally feel good, except that I know that means big hair. Sheer, it gives just a subtle... What are you cooking? Still going. Maybe I should be worried. There we go. It's almost like bad when it's that sensitive, because it's like The Boy Who Cried Wolf. If there ever is a fire, we're gonna be like, it's fine. We hear it all the time. There's a lot of red. I should not have done the red lip. I think it was a little bit too much. Oh well, what do? You guys know how much I love to match. I can't ever resist the opportunity to match something. If it's there, I'm gonna do it.